Alright, welcome back to another episode on the RNG series. In this episode we're gonna be taking a look at the second part of the inventory, because last episode I actually stopped the inventory because we kinda ran out of time. So here's the second part. We're gonna do the left side, which contains all the info for the aura equipping system thingy. So let's get directly started. As you guys can see, we have a storage frame and a title frame. So we're gonna be adding a new frame, which is gonna be our holder frame probably. This guy we can probably do the same like the storage frame. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna set the anchor point to 0,1 instead of 1,1 that we did last time. For the position we're gonna do 0,1 again, so it's on the bottom left corner. Then we can basically copy the values of our storage frame and just adjust them how we need them. Yeah, there we go. This fits perfectly. So make sure the size is 0.25 and 0.9. Now we can make this frame invisible. And inside here we are gonna need 3 different frames. One is for the aura. Let's name this main aura info. And this main aura info should be background color black with a transparency of 0.25. The size should be 1, let's make this probably 1,0.25, like this. This is a bit small in my opinion. I think we can increase the size. There we go. I think this works better, maybe. Actually no, I do like it small. So maybe 0.3. Yeah, this looks good. So inside this frame we are gonna add another frame. We are gonna name this the inner. It's gonna be anchor point 0.5 as well as position 0.5. And then we are gonna scale it to 0.95 on both ends. Is it a bit small or a bit too short of a gap? So probably this is just experimenting, because like UI needs a lot of experimenting. But as you can see, I think if we do this, yeah, this works a lot. This actually works so good. So make sure the size is 0.94 as well as 0.925 on the vertical axis. And you can make the background transparent again and add a UI stroke inside here. This UI stroke is a thickness of 1.5 and a color white. There we go, now we have a little frame on the top left. Inside here we could do something like souls maybe, or we make our own thing. Let's make something like souls. Sure, I do like the design of that. So we are gonna add a background. Actually, let's not name it the background. We're gonna name it the holder. This holder is gonna be 0.5 as well as 0.5 here. And the size really doesn't matter, but I'm going for 0.9. Yeah, 0.9 works. Alright, make this invisible. And inside this holder, we are gonna add 2 more frames. One for the top divider and a bottom divider. The top divider is gonna be a size of 1,0.01. So you can see there's a small line. Although I think it would be better if we increase this to 0.025. It is a bit thicker and I think that works better. Then we can duplicate this with Ctrl D and name this the bottom divider. And I misspelled that, bottom divider. There we go. This could be 0,1 on the anchor point and position 0,1 again, so it's on the bottom. Inside one of both frames you can add a UI gradient. Now go to the transparency and click those little 3 dots. A menu like this should open up, and we're gonna drag both of those dots all the way to the end. Click on the middle and drag it to the bottom middle, and just adjust at the time to 0.5 and the value to 0. The envelope we don't need, so just make sure it looks something like this. As you can see already, the divider gets cut off at the end with a smooth transition between. We can also adjust this if you want a sharper transition. It's really up to this, the design you'd like. So I think I'm going for a bit of a sharper design. So 0.25 time right here and 0.75 time like this. Yeah, I do like this a lot more. So you can probably copy what I did here, 0.25 right here and 0.75 right here. Duplicate this gradient and add it to the bottom divider. And if you do not like how it looks, you can grab both dividers and adjust the scale. So I'm gonna make this a bit smaller. I like this. And then inside the holder, we're gonna make it even smaller. The horizontal axis, I think I'm gonna increase to 0.95, but the actual vertical, we're gonna decrease to 0.85, like this. Could probably decrease it even more, maybe 7.5, so it's more in the middle. And I gotta say, I do like this a lot. So it really depends on the design you're going for, but I do like how this looks. So inside this holder, we are gonna add a text label. We are gonna call this the aura name. This is gonna be anchor point 0.5, 0.5, sure. As well as the position 0.5, 0.5. Size doesn't matter, so we're gonna do 0.9. A bit too big, I would say. So horizontal should be 1, and then we can do maybe 0.8. Still a bit too big. So we're gonna do 7.5. And then maybe adjust the position so it's not 0.5 on the vertical, but maybe 4.5. So it's a bit further up, so we can add the rarity down below. I do like that. So you can copy these values, and we are going down to the font phase. For now, we are gonna use Zona monospace, but as you know, auras can have custom fonts and other stuff like decoration. But that is a bit more difficult, and we are gonna do that, but this will take some time. So for now, we are just gonna use a common font. So go back to the size, because I think the text is too big. Maybe scale it down so it's not on the edges. I think it's still a bit too big, so maybe we're gonna even decrease the vertical. Yeah, I do like 0.6, I feel like. Yeah, 0.6 is fine. So 0.9 and then 0.6 on the vertical. And we can move it even a bit further up. So 0.5 and 0.4 on the position. I do like that. So text color should be white. And there you go. And then you can just add a random aura name inside here to kind of test how it would look. I'm gonna do common for now. There you go. This looks good. Then we can duplicate this and rename this to aura rarity. And this aura rarity, we are gonna position, actually first scale it down to 0.9. And then we are gonna do the size of 0.3 maybe. The position, I think 0.7 should work. Maybe even a bit further down, so maybe 0.8. Or even 0.85. 0.85 is too far down, so 0.8 should work. Like this, 0.5 and 0.8 on the position. And then inside the aura rarity, you can rename this to be like 1 in 2 for now, right? This looks good, but I think we're gonna decrease the vertical a bit more, so 0.25 maybe. I do like how this looks. The aura name is still a bit too big in my opinion, but if we would change it to like any different name, like really any different name, you will see that the scale also changes. So if we would do like overseer maybe, you will see that the scale adjusts, so I think this should work. Yeah, this should work. Alright, nice, I'm gonna do comment in here again. Nice, we can close this and add a new frame down below. This is gonna be our aura info, not the main aura info, but the aura info. And for the scale, I think we did 1,3, I think it was. Yeah, that's the same scale. But for the aura info, I do think this needs to be a bit bigger, maybe. Yeah, a bit bigger. So let's do 0.35 like this. For the position, we are gonna do 0.3 on the vertical, so it's right below this. The background color should be black like always, and 0.25 on the transparency. We could probably, to save time, just copy the inner frame and paste it in here, and then delete the whole because we don't need that. And as you can see, the inner frame should look good again without needing to adjust anything. So inside the inner frame, we need a title. This title is gonna be 0.5 anchor point, and then 0.5 again on the position. Vertical should be a bit down, so I'm gonna do 0.02 like this, maybe even 0.025. Yeah, background transparency 1. Then we're gonna do the size of 0.95 and comma 1. That is not much, so maybe 0.2. I do like this. Text color white, and the font should be the same as you have everywhere else. Enable text scaled, and the text X alignment could be left, I feel like. So it is a bit more readable. And then we are gonna rename this to title. Inside here we can write maybe something like information, or like you could also do stats. Just something that suits your game, really. I think I'm gonna do information. That suits it pretty well. You can see it scales pretty much to the middle again, so it doesn't really matter if the text X alignment is centered or to the left. So just to make sure it looks good, I'm gonna do center again. There we go. Now we need some information actually. So add a new text label, and this is gonna be our info. This info anchor point 0.5, as well as the position set to 0.5. And then for the vertical, we are gonna do 1,1, I think. No, that's, I think 2,1 maybe. 2,1, nah. Probably 0.25. 2.5 is a bit close, maybe 0.3 or 0.275, let me check. 0.3. I like this, yeah, this works. Alright, for the scale we're gonna do 0.95 again and hit them with 0.65. There we go. this should pretty much fill up the entire box right here. Then we're gonna go down into here, we're gonna add our font again. This is gonna be text scaled and text color white. Why is this text scaled? Because we are actually gonna add a few lines into here. Actually no, to keep it simple, you know what? We are gonna make it even simpler. We are just gonna do rolled add, so we don't need to do the lines separately. The scale, let me think. I think we do maybe 233. Yeah, 233. This is a bit too big, so we can probably go down to 1.5. Yeah, 1.5 works. I will even decrease the horizontal a bit to 0.9. Then we can do the text X alignment to the left and it will look good. Something like this, right? 0.5 position and 0.3 vertical, 0.9 on the horizontal sides and 0.15 on the vertical sides. Then we can go down here. This all already works, so we don't need to change anything, but we can do the text. So rolled add colon like this. We could even say for now 7 rolls. I think this looks better. Yeah, this looks better. Then we can add a new frame, or sorry, text label, and we can just rename this to like luck, I guess. For the position, we just need to add this value right here, the size value to the position value. So all we have to do is say 4.5. Oh wait, I'm dumb. I meant to the position, so 4.5. And then we can say 0 luck. There we go. And then we can copy this again, add this to here, so 0.6. And then also rename this to our discover time. I think this is what Souls did, I'm pretty sure. And then we can just do any date. So I'm gonna do March 20th, I guess. Sure. The date format was probably, I'm not quite sure. I think they used 12-hour clock, maybe. Yeah, just for now we're gonna do a test value, right? So add your time right here to kind of showcase how it would look. And I think this works pretty well. What we could also do is add a little divider below the information, but I don't think we need that. Yeah, I do think this looks good already. Yeah, so we can even scale this one down. So I think it would look better if it's at the bottom, but I'm not sure. So we're keeping it as it is, I'm sorry. Yeah, we are keeping it as it is. This looks good. Alright, now for the last frame that we need, you can also copy this again and basically remove anything we had inside here. This aura info that we just copied, we are gonna rename to our button holder. And then we do need to calculate something real quick. So right here, you have the scale of 3.5 and a scale of 0.3. So both of those together are 0.65. So we can position this already. 6.5. And the scale already works. Perfect. There you go. Inside our button holder, we have a inner frame, that's fine. And now we need to add all of our information buttons, or like just our buttons in general, what we can do with the aura. So add a text button. This is gonna be our equip button. Anchor point 0.5, position 0.5 and 0.02. So there's a little gap up there. We can also do 0.025 like we had right here with the information. I think looks better. The size, I think we're gonna do 0.9 and wait, let me think. We need 4, maybe 5 buttons. Let's do 5 buttons. So 0.2 on the scale. And for just this once, I don't think we are gonna need a background transparency of 1, but we are gonna do 7.5. So it's really, really dark, you can see. And the background color can stay white because we are gonna change it with a gradient. I don't like this position, it looks a bit weird, so I think we're gonna do maybe 0.035. It still looks weird. I think 0.05 may. Yeah, 0.05. Yeah, this works actually. This works a lot. So add a UI stroke inside our equip button. This needs to be a border on the apply stroke mode. The thickness can be 1.5 like we had with anything else. And for the color, we are gonna do a light green. So something like this. Inside here we are also gonna be adding a UI gradient. This UI gradient should be with a color. Actually, first change the color. So this could also be like a greenish, like this. Go to the second color right here and make it darker. If you have that, adjust the rotation so it's 90. And there you go, you can see there is a small gradient to the bottom. I do like this, but the color looks weird, it's a bit too bright. So we are gonna adjust that real quick. Yeah, I do like this a lot more. Then also for the UI stroke, something like this. This works. Inside here we are gonna be changing the font face to our solar monospace. We are gonna be scaling it. And I just realized that we don't actually need to be scaling this. We're gonna be making this invisible because we are gonna add a different frame inside here. Anchor point 0.5 as well as position 0.5 and a size of 0.9. Maybe even smaller, so maybe 7.5 on the vertical. This works. Background transparency white. Rename the frame to anything really, doesn't matter. I'm gonna be naming it temp and add a text label with the name being title. The size should be 1, position doesn't matter, anchor point doesn't matter, background transparency 1. Because we need to add a label, a frame first, because the UI gradient would apply to this text label right here. Because if we now do a white font, you will see that it will just, work how it should. Change the text to equip. And there you go, you have your button. I do still think the color looks off in some way. So I think we need to change this. Also the UI stroke is messing with me, so I think add a transparency to this as well. Maybe 0.25. No. 0.25 works, but I think the thickness is the problem. Oh well, we're gonna be keeping this the same, but we do need to adjust the gradient. Yeah, the gradient is bothering me. So maybe increase this to a really light green and then actually contrast it more but make it darker. Yeah, this is a bit of a problem. Actually, I do like this. Wait, I do like this. Alright, make the first color darker and the second color lighter. I do like how this looks. Yeah, I do like that actually. I like that a lot. Alright. Now that we have our equip button, you can duplicate this and rename this to our remove button. For the position, you just add 2.5 to it. So there's a little gap in between here again. And this will be at position 0.3. Down here, actually inside the button, inside our temp, we're gonna be renaming this to remove. There we go. And now for the coloring, yay. I think now because we have the darkness, you just need to change it to a red. So that's the second value. Yeah, this works. Go inside the stroke and do the same thing. There you go. This looks good already. So duplicate this one more time and we are gonna add the lock button. Do the same thing again, add 2.5 here. So this should be 5.5. And now inside here, temp title, we are gonna change this to lock. The gradient should be, we could do blue or a yellow-ish. Yellowish, yeah, I just changed the gradient entirely. That was my mistake. We can just directly copy this from the remove button again. Alright. Change this to a yellow. As well as the second value. Go inside the stroke. And do the same thing. Yeah, I like this. Alright. Copy this once more and name this storage. Actually, increase button. There we go. Now once more add 2.5 here, so this is gonna be 8. This is very close to the edge, I just realized that. So we are gonna be needing to change this a bit up. It's fine. And then down here, again inside our title, change this to just to I don't know actually. Yeah, sure, just do any type of money symbol, I guess. Anything to display cash, I guess. Something like this. Yeah. And I just realized if we have something with cache, this is probably yellow. So we do need to change the lock button again. This shouldn't be yellow. I guess we can do a blue or something like this. I think blue also works on a lock button. Yeah, there you go. You have your buttons. And now we can change this up again. So instead of ordering them, I think we can just add a UI list layout. Then inside the alignment tab, we're gonna do horizontal center as well as the vertical with a padding of 0.01. We need a bit more padding. Even a bit more. That's too much. Yeah, this is just figuring stuff out until you have a good value. So this takes a while mostly. I think we do need to decrease the size of the buttons. So from 0.2 maybe to 1.75. They are smaller, but now we can increase the padding. There we go. I like this. We can also do vertical flex to space around. Or even space between. No, space between is too much. Space evenly. Yeah, we can do space evenly, so we don't even need the padding. This can be 0, 0, because this doesn't matter anymore. Just do vertical flex space evenly, and this should be fine. You can see we have our buttons right here, and everything works how it should. So, one more thing I didn't do last episode, and also one more thing that I just noticed. Inside the aura info, we do need to decrease those in size because this is a bit too much. So from 0.15 to 0.25, maybe even a bit less, maybe 1.1. I like 1.25 better, yeah. Just so the text isn't as large, right? This looks better. Alright, now, sorry if I got distracted again. We are gonna go one more time into our search bar. And we are gonna be adding the filter icons right here. That's what I didn't do last episode. But I don't think... Actually, you guys can comment this in the description. In the comments just. If you would like filters in a future episode. Because... you know, filters are a bit complicated, so maybe we have to do this really later on. Yeah, we're gonna do this later on. So, I hope you've enjoyed this episode. I hope you finished your UI. And see you in a few days when I post the scripting for the inventory. So, thanks so much for the support, I gotta say. Thank you a lot, everyone. And just before I go, I have one more thing to say. In my Discord server, I have recently added a poll inside my announcements channel, right here. I have been asking you guys if you would like to see a few game jams. Basically, game jams are a competition between people where they make games, right? And the people, or like the person that makes the best game, usually wins a prize. My max is probably, with the community I have right now, around 5k robots, but we can increase this anytime you'd like. So, thanks for watching, and see you soon. Goodbye.